Before we begin, I want you to imagine a time, before you had a name, before you had a job, before the sun rose this morning, and before the very first star ignited in the velvet darkness of space. What was there? What is the silence that holds the universe together? You are here tonight not just to sleep, but to return to that origin, to touch the hem of the great mystery. We are going to explore the oldest map of reality known to humanity, the Tao. But this is not a lesson. It is an unlearning. It is a dissolving. So, let the heavy curtain of the world fall. Let the noise of the day retreat. We are stepping off the edge of the known map into the comforting, infinite dark. The first thing we encounter in this darkness is a warning, or perhaps a permission slip. The ancient text opens with a riddle. The Tao that can be spoken is not the constant Tao. Think about that. Everything you have worried about today consists of words. The emails, the conversations, the news, the thoughts looping in your head. They are all just words. They are labels we stick onto reality. But the sages tell us that those words are not the truth. The truth is what is left when the words stop. As the words fade, we see the structure of the cosmos unfolding. The Taoists have a beautiful mathematical way of describing how everything began. They say, the Tao produced the one produced the two produced the three, and the three produced the 10,000 things. Look at your life. You are living in the 10,000 things. The complexity, the details, the endless list of tasks. That is the noise. But tonight, we are going to reverse the film. We are going to wind the universe backward. Imagine leaving the 10,000 things, leaving the clutter of your schedule. You drift back to the three, the harmony of energy, drifting back further to the two, the simple balance of yin and yang, dark and light. And finally, you drift back to the one, the singularity, the point of pure potential. And then you step back even further, into the Tao, into the zero. Tonight, you are not one of the 10,000 things. You are the zero. You are the void that holds it all. Feel the relief of that subtraction, unspooling the complexity until you are just a single, quiet point of consciousness in the dark. And in this dark, how does the universe breathe? The ancients gave us the image of the heavenly bellows. Imagine a blacksmith's bellows, a large chamber made of leather and wood, used to stoke a fire. The bellows is powerful, not because it is full, but because it is empty. It is empty without being exhausted. The text says, the more it works, the more comes out. Your body is the heavenly bellows. Your lungs are the chamber. Notice your breath now. You don't have to force it. You don't have to buy it. It just flows. The emptiness of your lungs invites the air in. The emptiness is where the life lives. Most people try to be full of ideas, full of food, full of personality. But the Tao says, be empty, be the bellows. It is your emptiness that makes you inexhaustible. If you feel drained today, it is because you are too full. Tonight, empty yourself out, be hollow, and watch how the energy of the universe naturally, effortlessly flows back into you to fill the void. Deep within this void, we find the resting place. The sages call it the spirit of the valley. They say, The spirit of the valley never dies. It is called the mysterious female. Why a valley? Think of the geography of rest. The mountain peak is jagged, cold, and exposed to the wind. It is hard to stand on the peak. But the valley is low. The valley is curved. The valley accepts. Water always flows to the valley. Nutrients flow to the valley. All things eventually come to rest in the low places. Tonight, do not try to be the mountain. Do not try to be high or noble or seen. Sink. Let gravity do its work. Let your body become heavy and flow down into the mattress. The mysterious female represents the ultimate receptivity, the darkness of the womb, the darkness of the earth. It is the source that births all life because it does not resist. Be the valley floor. Let the day drain off you. Let the tension run down your shoulders, down your spine, pooling at your feet, leaving you dark, moist, and fertile with sleep. As you sink lower, your perspective on the problems of the day begins to change. We enter the relativity of size. The Taoists use a strange phrase, the tip of an autumn hair. They say, there is nothing in the world bigger than the tip of an autumn hair, and Mount Tai is small. This breaks the logical mind. How can a mountain be small? It is a matter of distance. To the universe, the earth is just a grain of sand. To a mite, a hair is a towering redwood tree. What does this mean for your stress? It means your problems are not big. They are only big because you are standing too close to them. Tonight, we zoom out. We pull the camera back, way back. See your house from the sky. See the city as a patch of light. See the planet as a blue marble. From this view, the mountain of your worry is smaller than the tip of a fine hair growing in autumn. It is invisible. It is nothing. You can blow it away with a single exhale. Who is worried? The little person in the bed, or the vast consciousness holding the stars? Be the vastness. Let the mountain become a hair. And just as space is an illusion, so is time. We meet the morning mushroom. There is a fungus that sprouts at dawn and dies before the moon rises. It lives its whole life in a few hours. It has no concept of night. It cannot understand the cycle of the seasons. It cannot comprehend the great year, the deep, slow cycles of the cosmos. Humans are often like the morning mushroom. We rush, we panic. We think this hour is everything. We think if we don't solve the problem now, the world ends. But the Tao operates on the time of the great year. Ancient trees take hundreds of years to grow. Stars take billions of years to burn. You are part of this deep time. Step out of the frantic mushroom time of the daily schedule. Step into the great year. You have time. You have so much time. The universe is in no hurry, and neither are you. Let the clock tick. It doesn't matter. You are floating on a river of time that is wide and slow. But how do I explain this to you? I'm using words, but I must warn you about the fish trap. The sage Zhuangzi said, "The fish trap exists to catch the fish. Once you have the fish, you can forget the trap. The snare exists to catch the rabbit. Once you have the rabbit, you can forget the snare. Words exist to catch the meaning. Once you have the meaning, you can forget the words. My voice is just a trap. The stories are just snares. We are trying to catch the fish of peace. We are trying to catch the rabbit of sleep check your body. Are your shoulders dropping? Is your jaw unclenching? Is your mind slowing down? If the answer is yes, then you have caught the fish. You can forget the trap. You don't need to listen to the logic of my sentences anymore. You can let the words dissolve into sound. Let the meaning wash over you without trying to understand it. Discard the trap. Keep the peace. Now we drift into a truth that might seem cold at first, but is actually the ultimate liberation. The straw dogs. The text says, heaven and earth are not benevolent. They treat the 10,000 things like straw dogs. In ancient rituals, dogs woven from straw were treated with great reverence before the ceremony. But the moment the ceremony was over, they were tossed into the dirt, trampled by passers-by, and burned. This is not cruelty. It is equality. It is the impartiality of nature. The sun does not shine on you because you were good today. It shines because it is the sun. Gravity does not hold you because you earned it. It holds you because you are matter. You can stop trying to earn your rest. You can stop trying to bargain with the universe. You don't need to be special. You don't need to be the best straw dog. Nature accepts you exactly as you are, temporary, fragile, and part of the whole. There is a great relief in being treated with indifference. It means you are free from the pressure of being the favorite child. You are just part of the dust, and the dust is holy. Feel that dust now. Feel the support of the great clod. This is what the Taoists affectionately called the earth. The great clod burdens me with form, labors me with life, eases me in old age, and rests me in death. Tonight, the great clod is resting you. Feel the mass of the planet beneath your building. It is solid, it is ancient, it is capable of carrying any weight you put on it. You are made of the same stuff as the great clod. Your bones are stone, your blood is ocean. Why are you holding yourself up? Why are your muscles tensed, as if you are trying to hover above the mattress? Surrender to the clod. Let the heavy earth magnetism pull you down. You are coming home to the soil. You are a child of the gravity. Let it carry you. And finally, as we drift toward the edge of the dream world, we hear a sound in the distance. It is laughter at the Tao. The text tells us, when the highest type of men hear the Tao, they diligently practice it. When the average men hear it, they half believe it. But when the lowest type of men hear the Tao, they laugh out loud at it. If they did not laugh, it would not be the Tao. This philosophy is strange. It asks you to be weak to be strong. It asks you to empty yourself to be full. It asks you to do nothing to achieve everything. The rational, busy, stressed out world looks at this and laughs. They say, it is foolish. Let them laugh. The part of your brain that wants to make lists, let it laugh. The part of your brain that wants to analyze, let it laugh. It's okay if this doesn't make sense to the logic. Sleep is not logical. Dreams are not logical. You are entering the realm of the illogical, the realm of the soft, the dark, and the mysterious. Smile gently into the dark. Let the laughter fade into the distance. You are part of the secret now. You know that the emptiness is the source. You know that the silence is the song. The great mystery is not something to be solved. It is something to be slept in. Wrap it around you like a heavy quilt. The origin is waiting. If the universe, as we just experienced, is born from a vast silent mystery, if the stars float in perfect peace and the earth rests in heavy silence, then we must ask the question that haunts us all. Why is it so loud inside our heads? Why, if we are born of the Tao, do we feel so anxious? Why does modern life feel like a tight shoe that blisters the foot? Welcome to the second stage of our journey. We are leaving the cosmic void and entering the human mind. We are going to explore the human trap. But do not worry. We are not here to judge the trap. We are here to inspect the lock so that you can quietly, gently slip out of it tonight. The Taoist sages realized that our suffering does not come from nature. The rain is not sad, it just falls. The wind is not angry, it just blows. Suffering is a uniquely human invention. It comes because we try to do the impossible. We try to freeze the river. We try to carve the water. We try to civilize the wildness of our own souls. The story of our stress begins with a history lesson, not of empires, but of the soul. The texts describe the descent of virtue. In the beginning, there was the Tao, spontaneous, unthinking, perfect flow. People slept when tired and woke when the sun rose. But then we lost the Tao, so we invented virtue to replace it. When virtue was lost, we invented benevolence, trying to be nice. When benevolence was lost, we invented righteousness, trying to be right. And when righteousness was lost, we ended up with ritual. Look at your life tonight. How much of your day was spent performing rituals? The ritual of politeness, the ritual of answering emails, the ritual of worrying about tomorrow. Ritual is the husk of a flower with no scent. It is the beginning of chaos. Tonight, we reverse the descent. Strip away the rituals. Strip away the need to be right. Strip away the need to be good. Fall back into the Tao. You don't need to be a good person right now. You just need to be a sleeping animal. This descent happens because of a mental glitch. Defining beauty creates ugliness. The moment you say, "This is beautiful," you have automatically created ugly. The moment you say, "I need to be successful," you have birthed the fear of failure. The moment you think, "I must sleep well," you create the monster of insomnia. This dualism is the root of your suffering. The mind is a knife that cuts the world in two, but nature has no knife. A tree does not compare itself to the flower. It does not know tall or short. It just is. Put down the knife. Stop labeling your thoughts as good or bad. Let them just be floating debris in the river. Without the label, there is no suffering. To understand how our obsession with structure kills our peace, we must hear the tragic myth of Hundan. Hundan was the emperor of the center. He was the embodiment of primal chaos. He had no face, no eyes, no ears, no mouth, no nose. He was wholeness. He was happy. Two other emperors, brief and sudden, wanted to repay Hundan's kindness. They said, "All men have 7 holes for seeing, hearing, eating, and breathing. Hundan has none. Let us bore some holes in him to help him." So every day they drilled 1 hole. And on the 7th day, when they finished the last hole, Hundan died. We do this to ourselves. We try to drill holes in our unstructured time. We try to give structure to our day, to our thoughts, even to our sleep. We kill the chaos of the dream world with the logic of the waking world. Tonight, mourn Hundun, and then become him. Let your face dissolve. Close your eyes and cover the holes. Stop seeing, stop hearing, stop processing. Return to the faceless, holeless state of primal wholeness. Chaos is not scary. Chaos is the womb of rest. We see this same violence in the tragedy of the horses. In the wild, horses have hooves to tread on frost and hair to protect against the wind. They eat grass and drink water. This is the true nature of horses. But then came a trainer named Bo Le. He said, "I know how to manage horses." He branded them, he clipped them, he bridled them, he forced them into straight lines, he built stables, and 2 out of 3 horses died. The sages ask, why do you treat your own spirit like a wild horse that needs to be broken? You act as your own trainer. You bridle your mind with to-do lists. You whip yourself with guilt. You force yourself into the stable of a schedule. You are managing yourself to death. Take off the bridle. Kick down the stable door. Tonight, return to the snowy fields of your true nature. You are a wild thing. You are not meant to be managed. You are meant to roam in the dark. We often mistake this control for love, like in the story of the seabird. A magnificent seabird landed in the capital. The prince loved it. He welcomed it to the temple. He ordered the finest orchestra to play music for it. He offered it wine and roasted ox meat. The bird looked dazed and sad. It dared not eat a single piece of meat or drink a cup of wine. In 3 days, it died. The prince killed the bird by treating it the way he wanted to be treated, not the way the bird needed to be treated. Your soul is that seabird, and your intellect is the prince. Your intellect tries to feed the soul with entertainment, with scrolling, with stimulation, thinking this is relaxation. But the bird doesn't want wine and music. It wants the silence of the ocean. It wants the wind. Stop forcing your mind to be entertained to sleep. Stop the music. Stop the ox meat. Give the bird the silence it craves. Sometimes the trap is entirely of our own making, created by our refusal to sit still. Consider the man who fled his shadow. There was a man who was so terrified of his own shadow and so annoyed by the sound of his own footsteps that he decided to run away from them. But the more he moved, the louder his footsteps thudded, and the faster he ran, the faster his shadow chased him. He thought he just wasn't running fast enough, so he ran faster and faster until he collapsed and died of exhaustion. He failed to realize the simplest truth. If he had merely stepped into the shade, his shadow would have vanished. If he had merely sat down, his footsteps would have ceased. You are running from your thoughts tonight. You are running from the shadow of tomorrow. But the running is the noise. The effort is the shadow. Stop running. Step into the shade of the covers. Lie still. Watch the shadow disappear into the darkness of the room. And even when we stop running, we get trapped by overthinking. We fall into the centipede's dilemma. The centipede moves with 100 legs, a miracle of coordination. One day, a frog asked it, "Sir, which leg do you move first? And which leg follows the third leg on the left?" The centipede stopped. He thought about it. He tried to calculate the movement, and suddenly he couldn't move at all. He fell over in the ditch. Analysis, paralysis. How often do you lie in bed thinking about how to sleep, or worrying about how to solve a problem that requires intuition? You are checking your legs. Is my breathing right? Is the pillow right? You are tripping yourself. You know how to sleep. Your body has done it thousands of times. It is biological wisdom. Stop counting the legs. Trust the 100 legs of your subconscious to carry you into the dream. We also torture ourselves by trying to be someone else. This is the story of the ugly neighbor. A famous beauty, Shishi, was known for her grace. One day, she had chest pain, so she walked through the village frowning, clutching her heart. The villagers thought she looked hauntingly beautiful in her fragility. An ugly neighbor saw this and thought, if I frown and clutch my heart, I will be beautiful too. So she went to the village, grimacing and holding her chest. The rich people shut their doors in terror. The poor people grabbed their children and ran. She imitated the form, but she missed the spirit. We look at the lives of others, their routines, their successes, and we try to mimic their frowns. We try to adopt their hustle, their morning routines. We become monstrosities of imitation. You do not need to be the famous beauty. You do not need anyone else's routine. Be comfortable in your own skin. The Tao favors the authentic, even if it is ugly or clumsy. Be an authentic sleeper tonight. Our ego often leads us into battles we cannot win. We are like the mantis blocking the cart. A praying mantis, angry and brave, stood in the middle of the road. It raised its scythe arms to stop a rolling carriage wheel. It did not know its own limitations. This is the ego. During the day, we stand in front of the giant turning wheel of fate, waving our little arms, thinking we can control the economy, the traffic, the weather, the opinions of others. We exhaust ourselves fighting forces that are millions of times heavier than we are. Tonight, see the wheel. Respect the wheel. Step out of the way. Do not be the mantis. Be the grass by the side of the road that bends when the wind blows. The grass survives. And while we are fighting the wheel, we miss the real threats. We become the mantis stalking the cicada. The mantis was so focused on catching the cicada, the prize, that it forgot its own body. It did not see the magpie behind it. The magpie was so focused on the mantis that it did not see the hunter. The hunter was so focused on the magpie that he tripped over a tree root. Tunnel vision. We get so obsessed with a goal, the promotion, the money, the answer, that we lose our peripheral vision. We lose our safety. Obsession with gain blinds us to danger. Tonight, widen the lens. Let go of the cicada. Forget the prize. When you let go of the target, you see the whole forest. You see the safety of the bed. The prizes we chase are often traps in disguise. The Taoists warn that favor is as dangerous as disgrace. We understand why disgrace is scary, but why favor? Why is a promotion dangerous? Because when you have high status, you are terrified of losing it. You become a slave to your own success. You walk on thin ice. To be ignored is a kind of safety. To be nobody is a kind of freedom. Tonight, lay down the burden of being somebody. It is heavy armor. Take it off. Enjoy the safety of the shadows where no one is watching and no one is judging. Consider the sacrificial swine. The ox chosen for the sacrifice is dressed in embroidered robes. It is fed the finest fresh grass and soy. It is pampered. The other oxen working in the field might be jealous. Look how lucky he is. But the pampered ox is being fattened for the temple. He is walking toward the knife. The unchosen ox, the one that is perhaps a little ugly, a little useless. It lives a long, peaceful life in the mud. Do not wish for the embroidered robes of fame. Do not wish to be the center of attention. There is danger in being too valuable. Be the useless ox. Lie in the mud of obscurity. You are safe there. The same applies to wealth. The sages speak of the pearl under the dragon's chin. A poor family found a pearl worth 1,000 gold pieces. The father said to his son, "Go and smash it with a hammer." A pearl of such value must have been taken from under the chin of the black dragon while he was asleep. When he wakes up and finds it missing, we will be destroyed. Great wealth and great desire usually imply great danger. We hold on to our treasures, our resentments, our ambitions like a pearl, but the dragon is waking up. Is it worth the risk? Maybe it is better to smash the pearl. Let go of the thing you think is so valuable. Let go of the need to win. Smash it and sleep soundly, knowing the dragon has no reason to chase you. We exhaust ourselves because we are guilty of living too thickly. This is a strange Taoist phrase. It means trying too hard to preserve your life. People who are obsessed with hygiene, with safety, with nutrition, with optimizing every second. They burn through their energy. They live thick, heavy, anxious lives. Death enters where there is no room for life to flow. When you are too full of intentions, you are clogging the drain. Tonight, live thinly. Be light. Be transparent. Don't try so hard to be healthy. Don't try so hard to be alive. Just breathe. The breath is thin. The air is thin. Let your existence become as light as smoke. And finally, we must cure ourselves of the ultimate disease, sick of sickness. The text says, to know that you do not know is the best. To pretend to know when you do not know is a disease, but then it offers the cure. Only when one is sick of this sickness can one cease to be sick. We are all pretending. We pretend to know what tomorrow brings. We pretend to understand the world. We pretend to be in control. This pretense is a fever in the mind. Admit it. Admit you don't know. Admit you are confused. Admit you are small. When you admit that you are sick of pretending, the fever breaks. The coolness returns. You don't have to be a god. You don't have to be a sage. You don't have to be a success. You are just a human caught in these traps. But look, now that you see the traps, the cages are unlocking. The bird is free. The horse is grazing. The shadow has vanished. The trap is empty. And you are finally free to drift into the dark. We have seen the traps. We have admitted that we are running on a hamster wheel of anxiety, trying to control the uncontrollable. So the desperate question arises, how do we get out? The modern mind screams, what must I do? What strategy must I learn? What book must I read to fix this? But the ancient Taoists smile gently at this panic. They whisper the secret cure, the only cure that has ever worked. To escape the trap, you do not do more, you do less. You do not build a ladder, you dissolve the walls. Welcome to Act 3, the great unlearning. Tonight, we do not learn how to sleep. We unlearn the tension that keeps us awake. The cure begins with the art of subtraction. The sage Lao Tzu wrote, "In the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped." Think of your day. You have been adding information, adding worries, adding tasks to your mental list. You are carrying a backpack filled with stones, and you are trying to sleep while wearing it. Tonight, we practice the Tao. We subtract. Imagine taking a stone out of the bag. Drop the need to be smart. Take out another. Drop the need to be right. Take out another. Drop the memory of what happened at 2 p.m. Less and less is done, until nothing is done. And when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Feel the physical lightness of subtraction. You are becoming lighter than air. As we strip away these layers, we are returning to a primal state, the uncarved block, or pew. Imagine a block of wood in the forest. It has not been carved into a bowl, or a statue, or a spoon. It has no specific shape. It has no name. Because it is undefined, it has infinite potential. Society has carved you. It has chiseled you into a parent, a manager, a student, a success, or a failure. These shapes have sharp edges. They are uncomfortable to sleep in. Tonight, erase the carving, smooth out the edges, return to the block. You are not your job. You are not your name. You are just raw, living material, simple, rough, honest. There is no pressure on a block of wood. It just sits there, holding the silence. To stay in this simple state, we must be brave enough to banish wisdom and discard knowledge. The text promises, banish wisdom, discard knowledge, and the people will be benefited 100-fold. We spend so much energy trying to be wise, moralizing about what is right and wrong, judging ourselves and others. This judgment is a heavy coat. Take it off. Anti-intellectualism here is not stupidity, it is innocence. Stop analyzing the world. Stop trying to figure out why things happen. When you stop moralizing, your natural kindness returns. When you stop overthinking, your natural sleep returns. Be simple. Be a fool. The fool sleeps soundly while the wise man paces the floor. But how can we let go of what we've learned? We must listen to the wheelwright's warning. Duke Huan was reading a philosophy book in his hall. An old wheelwright was working outside. He asked, "Duke, what are you reading?" "The words of the sages," the Duke replied. "Are the sages alive?" "No, they are dead." The wheelwright laughed. "Then you are just reading the dregs. The leftovers are the ancients." The Duke was furious, but the wheelwright explained, "When I make a wheel, if I chip too gently, it slides. If I chip too fiercely, it bites. The right touch is something I feel in my hand and answer in my heart. I cannot put it into words. I cannot even teach it to my son. It is an act. Sleep is an act. Relaxation is a rhythm. You cannot learn it from a book. You cannot force it with logic. The words I am speaking right now, they are just the dregs. Don't hold on to them. Listen to the sound, not the meaning. Let the knack of sleep return to your body, a wisdom older than language. To find this knack, we must shut out the noise. We practice sensory fasting. The 5 colors blind the eye. The 5 tones deafen the ear. We are overfed. We are stuffed with blue light and loud notifications. We are spiritually obese with stimulation. Tonight, we fast. Imagine your eyes are heavy gates. Close them. You are fasting from sight. The 5 colors are gone. Only the soothing grey remains. Imagine your ears turning inward. You are fasting from sound. The world is muted. In this deprivation, there is healing. You are closing the windows of the house so the fire inside can settle. As the senses close, we begin the deep inner work. Fasting of the heart. We recall the master craftsman, wood carver king, He made a bell stand so perfect that people thought spirits made it. The king asked his secret. King said, "I am only a workman, but before I began, I fasted to set my heart at rest. After 3 days, I forgot about gain and success. After 5 days, I forgot about praise or criticism. After 7 days, I forgot about gain and success. I forgot my body and all my limbs. By this time, the distractions of the court vanished. All that remained was the tree. You are the wood carver. Sleep is your art. To reach it, you must fast. Forget the gain. Don't count the hours of sleep. Forget the criticism. Don't judge your day. And finally, forget your limbs. Let your arms dissolve into the bed. Let your legs turn to mist. There is no you left to be awake. There is only the tree of the dream. This state is called sitting and forgetting, Suowang. It is not just sitting quietly. It is a demolition. The sage describes it as dropping off the body and dismissing the mind, leaving the material form and merging with the great thoroughfare. Imagine your physical form is made of sugar, and you are sliding into a warm bath. You are dissolving. The boundaries between your skin and the air are disappearing. You are not a solid object anymore. You are a current in the river of the night. But perhaps the mind is still swirling. Perhaps the thoughts are still spinning. Remember the lesson of muddy water. If you have a jar of muddy water, how do you clear it? You cannot clear it by stirring it. You cannot clear it by putting your hands in it. The more you try to force it to be clear, the muddier it gets. You must do nothing. You must leave it alone. If you let it stand, gravity will do the work. The mud settles. The water becomes transparent. Your mind is that jar. The thoughts are the mud. Do not try to scoop them out. Just lie still. Wait. Let gravity pull the heavy thoughts down. Watch them settle to the bottom. Slowly, the space in your mind becomes clear, cool, and still. In this clarity, you become the empty boat. The sage Zhuangzi tells us, if a man is crossing a river and an empty boat collides with his own skiff, he will not be angry, even if he is a hot-tempered man. But if there is a person in that boat, he will shout at him to steer clear. Why the difference? Because one boat is empty and the other is full. The stress of your day comes from defending the person in the boat, your ego, your reputation, your opinions. Tonight, throw the person out. Be the empty boat. If a worry collides with you, it hits nothing. There is no one home to be offended. There's no one home to be stressed. You are just drifting wood, light and hollow. We search for this emptiness, but we often search in the wrong way. We remember the legend of the Yellow Emperor's pearl. The Yellow Emperor lost his dark pearl, the truth. He sent knowledge to find it, but knowledge failed. He sent vision to find it, but vision failed. He sent logic to find it, but logic failed. Finally, he sent a figure named Empty Head. An empty head found it. Why? Because knowledge, vision, and logic are all sharp, active things. But the pearl was lost in the realm of the soft and formless. Only Empty Head, the state of mindlessness, could find it. Stop looking for sleep with your logic. Stop hunting for it with your eyes. Be Empty Head. Let your brain be a vacuum. In that nothingness, the pearl is waiting. You do not need to go anywhere to find this pearl. The text teaches knowing without traveling. The further one goes, the the less one knows. The modern world tells you to travel, to seek, to hunt for peace in vacations or experiences. But the Tao is a hologram. The whole is contained in every piece. Your bedroom is the center of the universe. Your chest is the center of the galaxy. You do not need to move an inch. Stop planning the next trip. Stop planning tomorrow. Journey inward. The landscape inside you is vast, unmapped, and silent. As you journey inward, let your mind become the mirror. The perfect man uses his mind like a mirror. It goes after nothing. It welcomes nothing. It responds, but does not store. A mirror reflects a flower perfectly. But when the flower is moved, the mirror does not hold onto the image. It becomes empty again, ready for the next reflection. Your mind has reflected 1,000 things today. Faces, screens, traffic. But now, the day is over. Do not store the images. Wipe the glass clean, smooth, cool, silver, reflecting only the darkness of the room, holding onto nothing. When we let go of this rigid holding, we find a new kind of strength, the invincibility of the newborn. Have you ever watched a baby sleep? Their fists are closed, but their grip is soft. Their bones are soft. They cry all day but do not get hoarse. They are invincible because they are not stiff. They do not resist the world. The Taoists believed that rigidity is the disciple of death, while softness is a disciple of life. Check your body. Are you stiff? Are you bracing yourself? Soften, melt, be the newborn. You are protected by your own lack of resistance. And finally, we arrive at the ultimate state of release, the drunken man. The sage says, when a drunken man falls from a carriage, though the cart is moving fast, he does not die. His bones are the same as other men, but his fall is different. His spirit is complete. He is unconscious of the danger. Because he does not know fear. He does not tense up. He does not prepare for the impact. He flows with the fall. It is our fear, our bracing for impact, that breaks our bones. We break ourselves trying to protect ourselves. Tonight, emulate the drunken man, not intoxicated by wine, but intoxicated by the Tao. Do not brace yourself against the morning. Do not brace yourself against the dark. Fall out of the carriage of the waking world. Fall loosely. Fall limply. The ground of dreams is soft. It will catch you. You have unlearned the need to know. You have unlearned the need to be someone. The block is uncarved. The water is clear. The boat is empty. The mirror is clean. You are falling safe and sound into the cure. We have unlearned the complexities of the world. We have emptied the boat of the ego. The mind is now a clean mirror, reflecting the darkness of the room, but holding on to nothing. In this emptiness, a question arises. If we are not fighting, if we are not striving, how do we exist? How do we move through the night? The ancients looked to the rivers for the answer. They realized that once you are empty, you must adopt the nature of water. Imagine water. It is soft. It yields to the touch. You cannot grasp it. You cannot hurt it. Yet it is the most powerful force on earth. It carved the Grand Canyon. It outlasts the stone. Tonight, your body becomes liquid. You are no longer muscle and bone. You are a warm, flowing current. You are adopting the principle of Wu Wei. This is often translated as doing nothing, but it is truly effortless action. It is the art of flowing like water around rocks. Think of a stream moving down a mountain. When it meets a boulder, it does not argue, it does not stop, it does not plan a strategy to destroy the rock. It simply flows around it. It uses gravity. It takes the path of least resistance. Tonight, apply Wu Wei to your sleep. If a thought, a rock, appears in the stream of your mind, do not fight it. Do not try to smash it. Simply flow around it. Let the thought sit there while you, the water, continue your journey downward, effortlessly bypassing the obstacle. There is no friction in Wu Wei, only flow. As you flow, you discover the virtue of water. The sage Lao Tzu praised water because it is close to the Tao. Why? Because it is humble. Water always seeks the lowest place. It flows to the spots that humans despise. The ditches, the valleys, the deep abyss. It nourishes all things without striving for recognition. In our waking lives, we are taught to climb, to ascend, to be high. This effort creates tension in the neck and shoulders. But tonight, we embrace the virtue of sinking. Let your consciousness flow down to the lowest points of your body, to your hips, to your heavy legs, to the soles of your feet. Do not try to be high, be low. Be like the water that settles in the deep, quiet pool. In this humility, there is total rest. In this deep state, we learn the lesson that softness overcomes hardness. The ancients gave us a simple anatomical riddle. Look at the mouth. The teeth are hard and rigid. The tongue is soft and pliable. Yet when a person grows old and dies, the teeth fall out, but the tongue remains. The soft survives, the hard perishes. Check your jaw now. Are you holding on to the teeth, the rigidity, the clenching? Or are you resting in the tongue, the softness? Let your jaw unhinge slightly. Let the tongue rest gently on the floor of the mouth. Softness is the strategy of survival. Softness is the strategy of sleep. This brings us to the broader principle of the hard and stiff versus the soft and supple. The text says, when a man is born, he is soft and weak. When he dies, he is hard and stiff. The myriad creatures, the grass and trees, when they are alive, are soft and supple. When they are dead, they are dry and brittle. Therefore, the hard and stiff are the disciples of death. The soft and supple are the disciples of life. Feel the life in your body. It is found in your flexibility. If you feel a stiffness in your back or your neck, send a message of softness to it. Imagine warm oil massaging the stiffness, turning the dry, brittle wood back into a living, supple sapling. You are alive, so you are soft. You are safe, so you are supple. There is a resilience in this softness, captured in the saying, the bent becomes whole. Imagine a pine tree and a bamboo stalk in a heavy snowstorm. The pine tree is rigid. It tries to hold the weight of the snow with strength. Eventually, the branch snaps. The bamboo, however, bends. It bows all the way down to the ground under the weight. It yields completely, and because it yields, the snow slides off. Once the weight is gone, the bamboo snaps back, whole and undamaged. You may feel weighed down by the snow of your responsibilities. Do not be the pine tree. Do not try to hold it up. Bend, bow down. Let the mattress take the weight. Yield to the gravity of the situation. By bending, you allow the snow to slide off. By yielding to sleep, you ensure that you will snap back tomorrow, whole and refreshed. We are now creating a space within us. We are realizing the power of the void. The Taoists point to a clay pot. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. Existence renders actual utility, but non-existence renders the actual function. You are the pot. Your busy mind is the clay walls, but your value, your peace, comes from the empty space inside. Do not be afraid of the void. Do not be afraid of having nothing on your mind. That empty space is where the energy of the universe gathers. Cherish the hollow parts of yourself. In this hollow space, we practice knowing the male, keeping to the female. In Taoist cosmology, the male, yang, is active, bright, and moving. The female, yin, is passive, dark, and receptive. The sage knows how to act, but he chooses to reside in the stillness. He chooses to be the ravine of the world. Tonight is a time of pure yin. It is the time of the dark, the cold, the receptive. Turn away from the yang, the bright screens, the loud thoughts, the active planning. Cradle yourself in the yin. Be the receiver. Let the night enter you. Let the silence penetrate you. Holding to the yin, you become a channel for the eternal virtue. We return again to the spirits of the valley, but now we see it as a strategic position. In ancient warfare and philosophy, the high ground was often exposed, battered by winds. The low ground, the valley, was protected, fertile, and gathered all the streams. The lower position holds the power. By surrendering to sleep, you are not losing. You are retreating into the valley to gather strength. You are taking the strategic position of rest. Let the world storm and rage above the peaks. You are safe down here, deep in the heavy, grassy silence of the valley floor. This movement leads us to the paradox of retreat to advance. The Tao tells us, in order to contract, one must first expand. In order to weaken, one must first strengthen. In order to take, one must first give. This is the subtle light. If you want to have energy tomorrow, to advance, you must completely surrender tonight, retreat. You cannot steal energy from the night. You must give yourself to it. Give up your control. Give up your vigilance. By giving yourself to the dark gives you back your vitality. It is a perfect exchange. Retreat into the blankets. Pull back from the world. This is the only way to move forward. And if there is turmoil in your mind, remember that violent winds don't last. The texts say, a fierce wind does not last for a whole morning. A sudden rain does not last for the whole day. Nature seeks balance. High energy cannot be sustained. If you felt anxiety today, if you felt anger, know that it is like a squall. It is structurally impossible for it to last forever. It must burn itself out. You are the sky. The storm is just a temporary event, passing through you. Wait it out. The wind is already dying down. The rain is turning into a gentle mist. The silence is returning. We often cause our own storms by trying to be bigger than we are. The sages warn us about standing on tiptoe. He who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who strides cannot maintain the pace. Think of the feeling of standing on tiptoe, the strain in the calves, the wobble, the constant effort to stay up. This is how we live our days, trying to reach higher, trying to be seen. It is exhausting. Tonight, put your heels down, flat on the earth. There's no need to reach. There's no need to stretch. Return to your natural height. Ground yourself. Stability comes from contact with the earth, not from elevation. Now, let us drift into a story. The story of the old man at the waterfall. Confucius was looking at a gigantic waterfall. The water fell from such a height that it created a deadly foaming whirlpool. Turtles could not swim there. Alligators could not survive. Yet he saw an old man swimming in the turbulence, diving in and out of the crushing waves. Confucius thought the man was trying to commit suicide, so he sent his disciples to save him. But the old man swam to the shore, shook off the water, and started singing. Confucius asked, "Do you have a magic way of swimming?" The old man smiled. "No, I have no magic. I simply follow the nature of the water. I go down with the swirl, and I come up with the swirl. I follow the way of the water and do not impose my own selfishness upon it. That is how I survive." This is the secret to navigating the turbulence of your life. Do not fight the whirlpool. Do not impose your will on the chaos. If the water pulls you down, go down. If it pushes you up, go up. By becoming part of the water cannot hurt you. Tonight, let the current of sleep take you. Do not swim against it. Let it pull you under, safe and sound. But what stops us from this surrender? Fear. We look to the story of the boatman of the abyss. A character named Li Yuku demonstrated his archery skill to a sage. He drew his bow and placed a cup of water on his elbow. He fired arrows in rapid succession, standing like a statue. He was perfect. The sage said, "This is the skill of a terrified man, not a master. Come with me." They climbed a high mountain, standing on a rock that hung over a bottomless abyss. The sage walked to the edge, his heels hanging over the void, and beckoned the archer. The archer fell to the ground, sweating in terror. The sage said, "The perfect man peers into the blue sky above and the yellow springs below, and his mind does not change. You are terrified, so your eyes are dazed. Your skill is lost. Fear creates the tension that ruins our rest. We treat sleep like a performance. We are afraid of the abyss of the night. But the master stands on the edge, relaxed. The abyss is just space. The fall into sleep is safe. Remove the fear of not sleeping, and the skill of sleeping returns naturally. You are safe on the rock." This performance anxiety is further explained in the archer's wager. When an archer shoots for a clay tile, a worthless prize, his skill is masterful. When he shoots for a fancy belt buckle, he gets nervous. When he shoots for pure gold, he goes blind. He sees 2 targets. He goes crazy. His skill has not changed, but his concern for the prize has divided his mind. He cares too much. You are the archer. Sleep is the target. If you treat sleep like a prize of pure gold, thinking, "I must get this sleep or I will fail tomorrow," you will go blind. You will miss the target. Treat sleep like a clay tile. It is just a nap. It is just lying down. It is worthless. Who cares if you sleep? Who cares if you miss? Paradoxically, as soon as you stop caring about the prize, your aim becomes true. The arrow flies straight in the dark. We find this focus in the story of the hunchback catching cicadas. Confucius saw a hunchback catching cicadas on a sticky pole with the ease of picking them up with his hand. He never missed. Confucius asked how he did it. The hunchback said, "I practiced. Now, even if the universe were vast, I know only the wings of a cicada. I do not let my gaze wander. I would not trade the wings of a cicada for all the myriad things in the world. How could I fail?" This is the flow state, total absorption. Tonight, your cicada is the rhythm of your breath. The universe is vast, but you know only the sensation of air entering your nose. Do not trade this sensation for your worries about work. Do not trade it for your plans. Be the hunchback. Let the whole world fade away until there is nothing left in existence but the gentle rise and fall of your chest. In this narrow focus, there is infinite peace. And finally, we arrive at the ultimate master of the Tao, the skill of Butcher Ding. Butcher Ding was cutting up an ox for Lord Wenhui. His movements were like a dance. The sound of his knife was like music. He never hacked. He never chopped. Lord Wenhui was amazed. Butcher Ding put down his knife and explained, "I follow the Tao. When I first began, I saw the whole ox. After 3 years, I no longer saw the whole ox. Now I go at it by spirit and do not look with my eyes. Perception and understanding have come to a stop, and spirit moves where it wants. I follow the natural grain. I slide the knife into the big hollows. I guide it through the big openings. I never touch the ligaments or tendons, much less the bone. A good cook changes his knife once a year because he cuts. A mediocre cook changes it once a month because he hacks. I have had this knife for 19 years, and it is as sharp as if it were fresh from the grindstone. Between the joints, there are spaces, and the edge of the blade has no thickness. If you insert what has no thickness into such spaces, there is plenty of room to move. This is the ultimate secret of your life and your rest. Do not hack at your problems. Do not hack at your insomnia. Do not use force against the bone. Look for the gaps. There is a gap between every thought. There's a gap between every breath. There is a silent, empty space between every heartbeat. That is where you must go. Slide your consciousness, which has no thickness, into those spaces. There is plenty of room there. In the gap, there is no friction. In the gap, the blade never dulls. You can wander there for 19 years or 19 centuries and never be exhausted. Find the gap now, the silence between my words, the space between the inhale and the exhale. Glide into it, effortless, sharp, smooth, flowing like water, resting in the void. We have flowed like water, and we have emptied the boat. But even the sage must eventually walk through the forest of the world. The human world is full of axes, nets, and traps. It is full of noise and ambition. How does the quiet spirit survive in such a place? The ancients whisper the secret. To survive, you must become invisible. You must become impossible to grasp. You must master the art of survival by being unlike anyone else. The first and greatest lesson of survival is the usefulness of the useless. In a world that is obsessed with value, utility, and productivity, the Taoist seeks the safety of being useless. Imagine a carpenter walking through a forest. He sees majestic trees, straight, tall, and rich in timber. He cuts them down. They are useful, so they die young. Then he comes to a gigantic oak tree. It is thousands of years old. Its branches are twisted and gnarled. Its wood is too knotted to make a plank. Its leaves taste bad. The carpenter spits and says, "This is a worthless tree. It is useless." And he walks away. Because it was useless to the carpenter, the tree was able to grow to a heavenly age. It provided shade for thousands of dreamers. It survived because it could not be used. Tonight, consider the safety of being useless. All day long, you have tried to be useful to your boss, to your family, to the economy. That is why you are tired. The axe of society has been chipping away at you. But in this bed, in this dark, you are useless to the world. You are producing nothing. You are solving nothing. And because of that, you are safe. The axe passes you by. You are the gnarled tree, ancient and vast, resting in your own twisted, beautiful nature, safe from the blade of utility. But the Tao is a river that turns, and we must also remember the goose that couldn't cackle. The sage Zhuangzi was walking in the mountains and saw the useless tree surviving. He thought uselessness is the key. But later, he stayed at a friend's house. The friend ordered a servant to kill a goose for dinner. The servant asked, "One goose can cackle and protect the house. The other cannot. Which one should I kill?" The host said, "Kill the one that cannot cackle. It is useless." So the tree survived because it was useless, but the goose died because it was useless. Is this a contradiction? No. It is the secret of drifting. The sage says, "I drift midway between usefulness and uselessness." You must be like a ghost, shifting your form. When the world demands skill, you show a little, just enough to survive. When the world demands sacrifice, you become useless, just enough to escape. Do not be stuck in one identity. Tonight, drift. You are neither the useful worker nor the useless failure. You are nothing. You are mist. You are safe in the space between. We see the danger of showing off our value in the story of the cinnamon tree. The cinnamon tree is edible, so it is cut down. The lacquer tree is useful, so it is slashed. Being talented invites exploitation. If you show the world how smart you are, the world will give you difficult problems to solve. If you show the world how strong you are, it will give you heavy burdens to carry. Hide your light. Wrap your talent in a blanket of silence. Tonight, do not be the cinnamon tree. Be the bitter weed that no one wants to eat. Let the world ignore you. In that ignorance lies your freedom. We compare the yak and the weasel. The weasel is agile. It moves in a blur, catching mice, leaping over beams. It is proud of its skill, but because it is so active, it eventually lands in a trap and dies. The yak, on the other hand, is huge. It is like a cloud hanging from the sky. It is clumsy. It cannot catch a single mouse. But the yak does not get caught in traps. It is too big, too slow, and too peaceful. In the modern world, we are told to be the weasel, agile, quick, multitasking. But the weasel is anxious. Tonight, be the yak. Be huge. Be slow. Be like a cloud. You don't need to catch mice. You just need to exist. the trap is too small for you. There is a tragic warning in the story of the monkey and the arrow. A king was hunting. A pack of monkeys fled, but one monkey stayed behind to show off. It caught the arrows the king shot at it. It was nimble and arrogant. The king was annoyed by this display of skill and ordered all his archers to shoot at once. The monkey was killed. Showing off your skill gets you killed. The monkey died because it wanted to be admired. It wanted to prove it could handle the stress. Do not try to catch the arrows of life. Do not try to prove how much stress you can handle. Let the arrows fly past. Play dead. Lie still. The archers will leave, and you will be left alone in the quiet forest. The true sage does not look like a hero. He follows the principle of rough clothes, hidden jade. To the outside observer, the sage looks like a peasant. He wears coarse wool. He looks ordinary, but inside, pressed against his heart, he carries a piece of precious jade. This is your secret. You do not need to look successful to be at peace. You do not need the silk robes of status. Wrap yourself in the rough, warm blankets of simplicity. No one knows the treasure you hold inside. The jade of your own breath, the jade of your dreams. Keep it hidden. Keep it safe. To the world, the sage often appears as the muddled sage. The text says, "Common people are bright and clear. I alone am dark and obscure. Common people are sharp and confident. I alone am dull and confused, drifting like the waves." While the world argues about politics and money, screaming their opinions, the sage sits quietly, looking a bit confused. This confusion is a shield. If you appear sharp, people will challenge you. If you appear muddled, they leave you alone. It is a relief to stop being sharp. Let your mind become dull tonight. Let your thoughts become blurry. It is okay not to have an opinion. It is okay not to know. Be the drifting wave. This internal stillness creates a formidable presence, known as the wooden gamecock. A king wanted a fighting rooster. He hired a trainer. After 10 days, he asked, "Is it ready?" The trainer said, "No, he is still vain and relies on his own energy." 10 days later, "No, he still responds to shadows." 10 days later, "No, he still looks angry." Finally, after 40 days, the trainer said, "He is ready." When another rooster crows, he does not even flinch. He looks like a rooster made of wood. His virtue is complete. Other roosters will not dare to challenge him. They will turn and run. True power is not aggression. It is a stillness so deep that it intimidates the chaos around you. True power is a stillness that intimidates without aggression. Tonight, become the wooden rooster. Let the worries of the world crow and scream at you. Do not flinch. Do not react. You are made of wood. You are heavy, grounded, and immovable. The worries will see your stillness, turn around, and run away. In this stillness, you maintain your integrity, like the square that does not cut. The sage is square but does not cut, sharp but does not injure, straight but does not extend, bright but does not dazzle. You can have principles without being rigid. You can be a square, having edges and definition, but you are so soft that your corners do not hurt anyone. You do not need to force your shape onto the world. You just exist, holding your form gently. This allows you to practice the strategy of handling the difficult while it is easy. The sage says, plan for the difficult while it is easy. Do the great while it is small. The most difficult things in the world must be done while they are still easy. A giant tree starts as a tiny sprout. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. The best way to handle the difficulties of tomorrow is to sleep tonight. Right now, the problems of the future are just seeds. They are easy to handle. You handle them by resting. By restoring your energy now, you solve the problem before it becomes a crisis. Sleep is the easy work that prevents the hard struggle. When you act in this way, you become the ghost. The good walker leaves no tracks. A master traveler moves through the land without leaving footprints. He glides. He does not disturb the dust. In your life, try to move without creating friction. Do not leave a trail of arguments, a trail of noise. And tonight, leave no tracks in your mind. Do not hold on to the memory of the past hour. Let each moment disappear as soon as it passes, like a bird flying across the sky, leaving no trace. There is no history. There is only now. The sage has no interest in what the world fights over. We remember the owl and the phoenix. The phoenix is a noble bird that flies from the South Sea to the North Sea. It lands only on holy trees and eats only bamboo fruit. An owl who had just caught a rotten dead rat looked up and saw the phoenix flying over. The owl, terrified that the phoenix wanted his rat, screeched, "Shoo, go away." The phoenix did not want the rat. The sage does not want the dead rat of political power, of fame, of stress. The world is the owl. It clutches its stress, its money, its petty arguments, screaming at you to stay away. Look down at the owl with compassion. You do not want the dead rat. You are the phoenix. You're flying high above, in the clear air. You want only the bamboo fruit of peace. Let the world keep its rat. You have the sky. And if forced to choose between honor and life, choose life. Remember the sacred turtle in the mud. The king of Chu sent messengers to Zhuangzi, who was fishing. They said, "The king wishes to burden you with the administration of the realm." Zhuangzi did not turn his head. He said, "I have heard there is a sacred turtle in the capital, dead for 3,000 years, wrapped in silk and kept in a box in the temple. If you were that turtle, would you prefer to be dead and honored in a box? Or would you prefer to be alive and dragging your tail through the mud?" The messengers said, "We would prefer to be alive in the mud." Zhuangzi said, "Go away. I will drag my tail in the mud." Tonight, you are that turtle. The world offers you the honor of burnout. It offers you the prestige of exhaustion. Reject the box, reject the silk, choose the mud. The mud of sleep is cool, dark, and healing. It is better to be a sleepy, obscure person, dragging your tail through the dreams of the night, than a famous, stressed corpse in a suit. This rejection of false honor extends to licking piles. The philosopher Zhuangzi once mocked a man who got rich by curing the hemorrhoids of a king by licking them. He said, "The lower you go, the more you get." There is an indignity in sucking up to the world, in compromising your soul for a little bit of gain. it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Cleanse your mouth tonight. You do not need to lick the world's wounds to survive. You have your dignity. You have your independence. Spit out the taste of ambition. Sometimes the world is too crazy to fix. The only answer is to be the madman of Chu. A madman ran past Confucius singing, "Phoenix, Phoenix, how your virtue has declined. As for the past, it cannot be helped. As for the future, it can still be secured. Give up, give up. Those who engage in politics today are in danger." He ran away into the bushes before Confucius could speak to him. In a corrupt world, the only wisdom is to hide. The madman was the only sane one. He knew when to run. Tonight, run away into the bushes of sleep. The world of waking logic is dangerous. The politics of the day are a trap. Be the madman. Run into the deep green forest of your subconscious. Give up, and rest. But if you must interact with the dangerous world, be the tiger trainer. A man who feeds tigers does not dare to give them live animals, for the killing will arouse their fury. He feeds them at the right time. He understands their hunger. He survives because he understands the tiger's nature. Your stress, your boss, your fears, these are tigers. Do not poke them. Do not give them live bait. Handle them gently. Understand their nature. Satisfy them quickly and step back. By understanding the danger, you remain safe. Finally, we change our perspective. We look at the secret hand salve. There was a family who knew a secret recipe for a salve that prevented chapped hands. For generations, they used it to wash silk in winter, earning a few pennies. A stranger bought the recipe for 100 gold pieces. He took it to the king, used it to keep the soldiers' hands warm in a winter naval battle, won the war, and was made a lord. The salve was the same. The usage was different. Value is perspective. You might think your ability to sleep is a small thing, a kitchen skill, but a big mind sees it as the foundation of an empire. Your rest is not a small thing. It is the secret salve that wins the war of life. Don't undervalue this moment. You are preparing for victory. Expand your mind further with the giant gourd. A man grew a gourd so huge it couldn't be used as a water jug because it was too heavy. He couldn't saw it into spoons because they were too flat. He smashed it, calling it useless. Zhuangzi laughed at him. Why didn't you tie it to your waist and use it as a giant float to sail down the rivers and lakes? The man was trapped in the logic of kitchenware. He could not think big. Tonight, stop thinking of your mind as a spoon or a jug. Stop trying to make yourself useful in small ways. Your mind is a giant gourd. It is a vessel for floating. Tie it to your waist. Walk into the river of the night. The gourd is buoyant. It lifts you up. You are floating now, drifting down the great lakes of the Tao. And as we float, we look up and see the quail and the giant bird. There is a bird called the peng. Its back is like Mount Tai. Its wings are like clouds hanging from the sky. When it flies, the water is roiled for 3,000 miles. It rises up 90,000 miles, riding the wind. The little quail laughs at him. Where does he think he is going? I leap up and I come down a few yards. I fly among the bushes. This is the perfection of flying. Small minds will always mock great visions. The anxious thoughts in your head are just quails. They jump up and down in the bushes. They cannot understand the pain. They cannot understand the vastness of the sleep you are about to enter. Do not listen to the quail. You are the pen. Spread your wings. They are like clouds. Wait for the wind. The wind of the great mystery is rising. Beat your wings once. You rise above the bushes. Beat them twice. You rise above the trees. Beat them 3 times. You are 90,000 miles high. The world is gone. The quails are silent. There is only the blue sky. There is only the wind. There is only the drift. We have traveled far. We have learned to be water, to be useless, and to be empty. But now we must address the part of you that likes to be in charge. We all have an emperor inside us. It is the part of the mind that tries to rule the body, that tries to dictate the schedule, that tries to govern the chaos of thought. But the Taoist sages warn us that a heavy hand leads to rebellion. If you try to force your body to sleep, it will rebel. Tonight, we learn the art of the shadow leader. We learn how to rule the kingdom of the self by doing absolutely nothing. The first rule of this internal governance is ruling like cooking a small fish. Imagine a very small, delicate fish frying in a pan. The skin is thin, the meat is tender. If you keep poking it with a spatula, if you keep turning it over to check if it is done, what happens? It falls apart. It becomes a mess. Your mind tonight is that small fish. It is delicate. The process of falling asleep is a fragile chemical reaction. But you, the anxious emperor, you keep poking it. You ask, am I asleep yet? You turn the pillow. You check the time. You adjust the blanket. You are poking the fish. Stop. Put down the spatula. Step away from the fire. Let the heat do the work. The fish cooks itself. Sleep comes when you stop checking on it. Trust the process. Do not touch the fish. Let it be. When you stop meddling, you become the invisible leader. The sage Lao Tzu says of the greatest leaders, the people do not even know they exist. When the work is done and the task is complete, the people say, we did it ourselves. Tonight, be invisible to your own body. Do not be a dictator giving orders to your muscles. Relax now. Do not be a commander giving orders to your breath. Breathe deeper. Step back into the shadows. Let your heart beat on its own. It knows how. Let your lungs expand on their own. They know how. Let your body drift. When you wake up refreshed tomorrow, your body will say, I did it myself. You are just the silent witness, the invisible presence holding the space. To maintain this peace, we imagine the ideal world, small country, few people. The Taoist utopia is not a global empire. It is a tiny village. The text says, though there are boats and carriages, there is no occasion to use them. Though there are armor and weapons, there is no occasion to display them. Let the people not cords for counting. Let them be sweet in their food and happy in their customs. The neighboring village is so close you can hear their roosters crowing and their dogs barking, yet the people grow old and die without ever visiting each other. This is the ultimate anti-globalism of the soul. Tonight, shrink your world. You do not need to visit the neighboring village of tomorrow. You do not need to travel to the city of the past. Stay in your small country. Your bed is the entire country. The pillow is the border. Hear the dogs barking in the distance. Those are the worries of the world. But do not go there. Stay here, in your warm, small, isolated utopia. There's nowhere else you need to go. But the mind loves to complicate things with rules. We must remember simplicity and anti-greed. The sage warns, the more laws and prohibitions there are, the poorer the people become. The more laws, the more thieves. Think of the laws you create for your sleep. I must sleep 8 hours. I must not look at my phone. I must wake up early. These are laws, and because you have laws, you have thieves. The thief is the guilt you feel when you break the rule. The thief is the anxiety that steals your rest. Abolish the laws. Repeal the constitution of your bedroom. If there are no rules, there can be no thieves. If you don't demand 8 hours, you cannot fail. Return to simplicity. Be a lawless ruler. Allow whatever happens to happen. In that lawlessness, there is peace. Part of this simplification is not honoring the worthy. In society, when we elevate superstars and praise the worthy, the people begin to compete. Jealousy arises. Theft begins. In your mind, do not honor the worthy thoughts. Do not praise the good ideas you had today. Do not fixate on your brilliant plans for tomorrow. If you honor the brilliant thoughts, the anxious thoughts will come to fight them. Level the playing field. Treat every thought as equal and equally unimportant. The brilliant idea is just smoke. The stupid worry is just smoke. Do not give medals to your thoughts. Let them all float by, unhonored, unjudged, dissolving into the night. We can judge the health of a kingdom and a mind by looking at the horses. War horses in the suburbs. The text says, when the Tao prevails in the world, the war horses are used to fertilize the fields. When the Tao is absent, war horses are bred in the suburbs. When you are stressed, your body is breeding war horses. Your adrenaline is high. Your muscles are tense. You are ready to fight a tiger or flee a fire. You are breeding cavalry in the suburbs of your mind, right on the border of sleep. But tonight, the war is over. Send the horses back to the fields. Visualize a war horse, strong, muscular, wearing armor. Now, take off the armor, take off the saddle, open the gate. Watch the horse walk slowly into a green, misty field. It lowers its head to eat grass. It is no longer a weapon of war. It is a creature of peace, fertilizing the earth with its presence. Let your energy graze. There's no battle tonight. But what if a battle arises? What if a dark thought attacks? Remember that weapons are instruments of ill omen. The sage says, weapons are not the instruments of the gentleman. He uses them only when there is no other choice. Peace and quiet are dearest to his heart. Victory is not a thing of beauty. He who delights in victory delights in killing. If you must win, conduct yourself as if you were at a funeral. If you must fight a thought tonight, do not enjoy it. Do not get angry. Do not engage in a heated debate with yourself. Treat the conflict like a funeral. Be somber. Be quiet. Gently lay the thought to rest. Mourn it and move on. Do not let the drumbeat of war disturb the silence of the temple. We often justify our internal wars with morality, but the Tao exposes the hypocrisy. We look at stealing the hook versus stealing the state. The sage Zhuangzi laughs at our logic. The man who steals a bell buckle is put in jail. The man who steals a whole state becomes a feudal lord. We worry about the little things. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I forget to email? These are the belt hook thieves. We punish ourselves for them. But we ignore the big thieves: ambition, greed, the desire to conquer the future. These big thieves have taken over the throne of your mind, and you bow to them. See the irony. Stop punishing yourself for the small mistakes while letting the great anxiety rule you. Forgive the thief who stole the hook and gently dethrone the thief who stole the start. Let the throne be empty. How should this empty throne relate to the world? The great state acts like the lower reaches. A large kingdom becomes powerful not by being a mountain, but by being the river delta. It places itself downstream. It accepts the flow of all the smaller streams. The female overcomes the male by stillness. You are a great state. You are vast. But to find rest, you must place yourself downstream. Let all the energy of the day flow down to you. Do not resist. Receive. The ocean is greater than the river because it is lower than the river. Be the ocean. Dark, deep, salt-heavy, and receptive. Let gravity bring everything to you. From this ocean, we look up at the absurdity of conflict. We remember the story of the kingdoms on the snail's horns. A man was anxious about a war between two states. The sage asked him, "Have you heard of the snail? On the left horn of the snail, there is a kingdom called Chu. On the right horn, there is a kingdom called Wei. They war with each other for territory, piling up thousands of corpses." The man said, "This is absurd." The sage said, "Compare the universe to your infinite space. Is the snail not tiny?" "Yes." "Then the war on his horn is nothing." Zoom out. Zoom out past the room, past the house, past the planet. See the galaxy turning in the silence. In that scale, your life, your office, your problems, they are not even the size of a snail. The conflict that is keeping you awake, it is a war between the left horn and the right horn. It is invisible to the stars. Let the absurdity wash over you. There is no territory to fight over. The snail is sleeping. Finally, we heed the warning of the master carpenter's axe. The sage says, there is a master carpenter, nature, Tao, who does the cutting. If you try to take the axe and cut in his place, you will only slice your own hand. We try to play God. We try to control the timing of events. We try to force outcomes. We are swinging an axe that is too heavy for us. Look at your hands. They are human hands. They are not meant to carve the destiny of the universe. They are meant to hold a cup of tea or to rest on a soft blanket. Put down the axe. You are not the executioner of fate. You are not the carpenter of tomorrow. You are just a guest in this wood shop. The wood will split when it is meant to split. The shape will emerge when it is ready. Step away from the workbench. Your hands are safe. The shadow leader retires to his chambers. The invisible leader fades into the dark. The small country blows out the candle. The war horses are asleep in the grass. The kingdom is at peace. We have navigated the origins of the universe, the traps of society, the wisdom of water, and the art of survival. We have learned to rule our internal kingdom by doing nothing. Now we arrive at the final gate, the ultimate horizon. we face the concept that keeps the human mind awake more than any other, the fear of the end. But the ancients did not see the end as a cliff. They saw it as a river bending into the sea. They did not call it death. They called it the Great Transformation. Tonight, we step into this transformation. We learn to look at the cycle of existence with total peace. We cultivate equanimity toward life and death. The sage sees life and death not as enemies, but as a single chain. Day becomes night. Summer becomes winter. Waking becomes sleeping. Life becomes death. You do not fear the sunset because you know the sunrise will follow. You do not fear the winter because you know it is just the earth resting. Why then fear the deep sleep? It is just another season. It is just the other side of the coin. Tonight, see your drift into sleep as a rehearsal for the great letting go. It is safe. It is natural. It is part of the chain. Everything is fluid. Nothing is fixed. We remember the most famous dream in history, the transformation of things, Wu Wei. Zhuangzi dreamt he was a butterfly. He fluttered around, happy and carefree, doing exactly what he pleased. He did not know he was Zhuangzi. Suddenly, he woke up, and there he was, solid and unmistakable Zhuangzi. But he asked himself, am I Zhuangzi who dreamt I was a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly dreaming I am Zhuangzi? This is the fluidity of identity. Tonight, you are tired of being you. You are tired of the name, the job, the history attached to Zhuangzi. So, let it go. Maybe the waking world was the dream. Maybe tonight, as you close your eyes, you are waking up as the butterfly. Feel your heavy human limbs dissolving. Feel light, colorful wings sprouting from your spirit. You are not a fixed, solid object. You are a transformation waiting to happen. Flutter away into the dark garden of the Tao. This shifting of forms is as natural as the seasons of life. The sage says, the master came because it was his time to be born. He left because it was his time to die. If you are content with the time and willing to follow the flow, sorrow and joy cannot enter. Death is just the turning of spring to autumn. When summer ends, we do not cry. We accept the cool air. We accept the falling leaves. Tonight, accept the autumn of your day. The sun has set. The heat is gone. It is time for the leaves to fall. Let your thoughts fall like dry leaves, covering the forest floor. The tree does not mourn the leaf. It stands tall, waiting for the rest of winter. Be the tree. But the human heart struggles with attachment. We recall the scene of crying at Lao Tzu's funeral. When the great sage Lao Tzu died, his friend Qin Shi went to mourn. He yelled 3 times and then left. The disciples were shocked. Wasn't he your friend? Why don't you cry more? Qin Shi said, no, to cry excessively is to violate the principle of nature. It is to double the emotion. It is to forget what we have received. The ancients called this the punishment for violating nature. The master came when it was time. He went when it was time. Grief, stress, and resistance are all forms of arguing with nature. We cry because we want summer to last forever. We stress because we want the day to never end. But to fight the timing of the universe is to punish yourself. Tonight, release the punishment. Stop crying out against the night. The timing is perfect. Lao Tzu has gone. The day has gone. Let them go. We often fear this transition because we do not know what is on the other side. We are like Lady Li. Lady Li was a beautiful captive brought to the king's palace. When she was first taken from her home, she cried until her dress was soaked. But later, when she lived in the palace, shared the king's bed, and ate the finest meats, she regretted her tears. The sage asks, how do I know that the dead do not regret the way they used to cling to life? We are like Lady Li. We cling to the home of our waking life. We fear the palace of sleep. We think the dark is a prison. But what if the dark is the banquet? What if sleep is the royal bed? We cling to our stress like a captive, clinging to the border. Cross the border. Dry your tears. The banquet of the great mystery is waiting for you, and it is better than you can imagine. Even the physical form we cling to is just a temporary vessel. We look at the skeleton, skull. Zhuangzi saw an old skull lying by the road. He poked it with his horsewhip and asked, "Did you die of greed? Did you die of shame? Did you die of old age?" That night, the skull appeared in his dream. It said, "You talk like a mortal. All those things you mentioned are the burdens of the living. In death, there is no ruler above and no subjects below. There are no chores of the 4 seasons. We float at ease as timeless as heaven and earth. Even a king facing south on his throne does not have as much happiness as we do. The dead pity the living. They pity our schedules, our bosses, our worries. The skull is smiling because it has laid down the burden. Sleep is the little brother of death. Tonight, you can taste that freedom. You have no ruler. You have no subjects. You have no chores. You are as timeless as the earth. Let the skull's wisdom soothe you. The burden is down. So why do we fuss over this body? We remember Zhuangzi's funeral. When Zhuangzi was about to die, his disciples planned a lavish funeral. Zhuangzi stopped them. "No," he said, "I shall have heaven and earth for my coffin. The sun and moon will be the jade symbols hanging by my side. The stars and constellations will be the jewels all around me. All creation will be the mourners. What is missing?" The disciples said, "We fear the crows and kites will eat you." Zhuangzi smiled. "Above ground, I will be eaten by crows and kites. Below ground, I will be eaten by mole crickets and ants. You rob the one to give to the other. Why are you so biased?" This is the ultimate surrender. The body belongs to the universe, not to you. It is just borrowed dust. Whether it is eaten by crows or ants, whether it is awake or asleep, it is just matter cycling through the great clod. The universe is the coffin. You are already safe inside it. The stars are already your jewels. You don't need a fancy bed or a perfect pillow. You are resting in the coffin of the cosmos, held by the stars. This acceptance extends to the imperfections of the body. We meet the one-legged man, Wang Tai. He had his foot chopped off as a punishment, yet he had as many followers as Confucius. Confucius looked at him and realized that while his body was deformed, his spirit was whole. He sees the inevitable as part of his own nature. He does not let things enter his spirit fortress. Physical deformity leads to spiritual wholeness. Perhaps you feel broken tonight. Perhaps your body hurts or your mind feels scarred. The Taoist masters love the broken things. The missing foot allowed Wang Tai to focus entirely on the inside. Your pain, your exhaustion, these are just the chopped foot. They are the outer shell. Inside, your spirit fortress is intact. Ignore the missing pieces. Retreat into the fortress. We go further into this acceptance with the friends and the boil. 4 friends, Masters C, Yu, Li, and Lai, were joking about death. Suddenly, Master Yu fell ill. His back hunched over, his organs rose up, and a giant boil grew on his spine. He looked at his reflection and laughed. Amazing. Look how the Creator is crumbling me up. His friend asked, "Do you dislike it?" "No," he said. "Why should I dislike it? My left arm might turn into a rooster, and I'll crow to the dawn. My right arm might turn into a crossbow, and I'll shoot a bird. My buttocks might turn into wheels, and my spirit into a horse, and I'll ride away. The Creator is playing with me." Marveling at illness as the Creator playfully reshaping the body. This is the ultimate reframing. That stiffness in your neck, that ache in your back, it is not an enemy. It is the Creator kneading you like clay. It is the beginning of a transformation. Do not be angry at the boil. Do not be angry at the pain. Smile at it. Say, "What are you turning me into?" Maybe you are turning into a dream. This inner light shines through the power of the ugly. Ai Tai Tuo. There was a man so ugly he frightened people. Yet when men were with him, they couldn't leave. When women saw him, they promised never to marry anyone else. He had no power, no money, and a terrifying face. So why was he loved? Because his virtue was whole. He did not scatter his energy. He did not judge. He was a dark, warm pool of acceptance. Charisma comes from whole virtue, not physical beauty. In the dark of your room, you have no face. You have no beauty or ugliness. You are just a presence. Gather your virtue. Make it whole. Be the magnet that pulls peace towards you, not by looking good, but by being deep. We are often distracted from this depth by the pursuit of fame. The texts ask, fame or body? Your name or your person? Which is dearer? Your person or your goods? Which is worth more? We trade our health for our reputation. We trade our sleep for our work. This is a bad trade. Fame is a ghost. Reputation is a shadow. But your body, this breathing, warm vessel, is the only reality you have. Tonight, make the right choice. Choose the body. Let the name die. Let the reputation dissolve. No one is watching you now. You are just a body needing rest. Health is the only real asset. Reputation is a ghost. But if the body dies, what happens? We learn the secret of dying without perishing. The text says, to die but not perish is true longevity. It uses the metaphor of the fire and the firewood. The firewood, the body, burns up and turns to ash. But the fire, the Tao, spirit, is passed to the next log. The fire never dies. You are the fire. Your waking self is just the log that burned today. It is turning to ash now. Let it burn out. Do not try to save the log. The flame of your consciousness is transferring to the next log, the log of the dream world. The Tao within continues. You are not perishing. You are just changing fuel. To sustain this flame, we practice longevity through stillness. The sage says, out of the stillness comes the brightness. You nourish life not by adding vitamins, but by calming the mind. Every moment of silence is a drop of oil for the lamp. You are nourishing your life right now. By lying here, by doing nothing, you are adding years to your spirit. You are healing the microscopic tears in your soul. Drink the stillness. It is the elixir of immortality. As we become lighter, we begin to float. We see Liezi ride in the wind. Liezi could ride the wind like a chariot. He was cool and breezy, gone for 15 days at a time. It was a beautiful freedom. But Zhuangzi noted, he still had to depend on the wind. If the wind stopped, Liezi would fall. True freedom is depending on nothing. Tonight, you might be depending on the pillow. You might be depending on silence. But try to go further. Float even without the wind. Detach from the need for comfort. Detach from the need for silence. Be so light that you don't even need the wind to carry you. And finally, we arrive at the ultimate destination, the holy man of Gush Mountain. Far away on the misty Gush Mountain, there lives a holy man. His skin is like ice and snow. He is gentle and shy like a young girl. He does not eat the 5 grains. He inhales the wind and drinks the dew. He rides on the clouds and drives a flying dragon, wandering beyond the 4 seas. This is the image of your destination. You are leaving the dusty world of men. You are becoming the holy man of Gush. Feel your skin cooling, becoming like smooth ice. Feel your hunger for the world fading. You are fed by the wind. You are climbing onto the back of the clouds. You are wandering beyond the 4 seas, beyond the fear of death, beyond the worry of life. The transformation is complete. You are no longer a person in a bed. You are a dragon riding the mist, drifting into the great white silence. We have reached the end of the path. We have walked through the mystery of the origin, the traps of the human mind, and the flowing wisdom of water. We have learned to be useless, to be shadow leaders, and to embrace the great transformation of death. Now there is nothing left to learn. There is no new information. There is only the settling of the dust. We arrive at the center. We arrive at the summary of all things. In this final stage, we seek the pivot of the Tao. The sage Zhuangzi tells us that the world is a spinning wheel of arguments. That is the opposite of this. Right is the opposite of wrong. Awake is the opposite of asleep. The world spins dizzily between these opposites. But there is a spot in the center of the wheel. It is called the pivot. When the pivot is fitted into the socket, it stands in the center and it responds endlessly to the changes without moving. Tonight, find that pivot. It is a place in your mind where this and that vanish. Stop debating whether you are tired or not. Stop debating whether tomorrow will be good or bad. Step out of the rim of the wheel. Step into the center. In the center, there is no movement. There is only a silent, spinning stillness. You are the pivot. Let the world spin around you. You do not need to turn with it. From this center, we look at our lives with the frog in the well. The frog lived in a crumbling well. He was happy. He told the great turtle of the eastern sea, "Look how happy I am. I hop on the railing. I rest in the missing bricks. The water comes up to my armpits. I am the master of this water." The turtle tried to enter but got stuck. He told the frog about the ocean, 10,000 miles across, 1,000 fathoms deep. The frog was stunned. he realized how small he was. Usually, we think this story is about ignorance, but for sleep, it is a comfort. You are the frog. Your bed is the well. The crumbling bricks are your pillows. The water up to your armpits is your blanket. Tonight, do not worry about the great ocean of the world. Do not worry about the 10,000 miles of the future. Be small. Be happy in your well. It is cozy here. It is safe. You are the master of this tiny, dark space. The ocean can wait. In this small space, we rely on intuition, not logic. We remember the happiness of fish. Zhuangzi and Wu Wei were crossing the Hao River. Zhuangzi said, "See how the minnows come out and dart around where they please." That is the happiness of fish. Wu Wei, the logician, said, "You are not a fish. How do you know what constitutes the happiness of fish?" Zhuangzi said, "You are not me. How do you know I don't know?" Wu Wei argued logic. Zhuangzi cut him off. Let us go back to the beginning. You ask me how I know. That means you already knew that I knew. I know it by standing here beside the river. Logic keeps you awake. Feeling puts you to sleep. Do not ask how you will sleep. Do not analyze the mechanism of your brain. Just stand by the river. Watch the thoughts dart around like minnows. Feel the flow. Trust your intuition. You know the happiness of rest. You feel it in your bones. That is enough. As we settle, we must let go of our demand for perfection. The Tao teaches that great perfection seems incomplete. Great perfection seems chipped, yet its use is not impaired. Great fullness seems empty, yet it is not exhausted. Great straightness seems bent. We want our sleep to be perfect, a solid block of 8 hours. We want our lives to be flawless. But the Tao is organic. A perfect ancient tree is full of holes. A perfect stone is cracked. Tonight, accept the chips, accept the cracks. If your sleep is broken, it is still sleep. If your mind is wandering, it is still resting. This incomplete rest is actually the great perfection, because it is real, it is natural. And if things feel wrong, remember that misfortune leans on fortune. The old man lost his horse, misfortune. But the horse came back with a wild stallion, fortune. His son rode the stallion and broke his leg, misfortune. But because of the broken leg, he avoided the draft and survived the war, fortune. The chain never ends. Bad luck leans on good luck. Good luck hides inside bad luck. So if you are awake, do not call it misfortune. It might be the quiet time you need to have a breakthrough. It might be the rest your body needs in a different way. Stop labeling the moment. The coin is spinning. You cannot see which side it will land on. Just let it spin. Now we come to the ethical core, the 3 jewels you must carry into the dream world, the 3 treasures. Lao Tzu said, "I have 3 treasures that I hold and keep. The first is compassion. The second is frugality. The third is not daring to be ahead of the world." Apply these to yourself tonight. First, compassion. Be kind to yourself. You have worked hard. You are tired. Do not scold yourself for not sleeping faster. Treat yourself like a beloved child. Second, frugality. Save your energy. Do not spend it on worrying. Be stingy with your movement. Be stingy with your thoughts. Hoard your stillness. Third, not daring to be ahead. Let the world race past you. Let others win the rat race. You are behind. You are last. You are slow. And in being last, you are safe. As you hold these treasures, you begin to dissolve. We experience the forgotten shoe. The sage says, The fish forgets the water because it is comfortable. The shoe fits, so the foot is forgotten. The belt fits, so the waist is forgotten. The mind fits, so right and wrong are forgotten. When your shoe is too tight, you think about your foot all day. When it fits perfectly, you forget you even have a foot. Happiness is forgetting. Tonight, we seek the comfort that leads to oblivion. Adjust your pillow until the neck is forgotten. Adjust your legs until the muscles are forgotten. Let the body become so comfortable that it disappears. You are not a body anymore. You are just a fitting. You are just a space where the shoe used to be. In this empty space, the sage has no heart. This does not mean he is cruel. It means he has no fixed heart, no fixed opinions. He treats the common people as his own children. He accepts the good. He also accepts the bad. You are the sage of your own mind. You have many people inside you. Angry thoughts, fearful thoughts, silly thoughts. Do not shut them out. Have no fixed heart. Open the door. Let the good thoughts in. Let the bad thoughts in. Treat them all like children playing in the courtyard. If you stop resisting the bad guests, they lose their power. They will get bored and fall asleep. This radical acceptance leads us to nature as the model, Ziran. The phrase Ziran means self-so, or it is so of itself. The text says, man follows earth, earth follows heaven, heaven follows the Tao, and the Tao follows its own nature. The Tao does not try. The sun does not try to shine. The grass does not try to grow. They just are. Tonight, follow your own nature. Your nature is to rest. Your nature is to recharge. You do not need to force it, just as you do not need to force your heart to beat. It happens of itself. Trust the Ziran of your biology. It knows the way home. And now, we arrive at the final image. The ultimate sound of the universe, the pipes of heaven. Zhuangzi describes the wind blowing through the forest. It blows through the hollows of the great trees, holes like noses, like mouths, like ears, like sockets. When the wind blows, the 10,000 hollows scream and sing. Some sound like whizzing arrows, some like shouting, some like deep breathing. But when the wind stops, all the hollows become empty and silent again. You are the tree. Your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams, they are just the sounds of the wind blowing through your hollows. They are the pipes of earth, but behind them is the pipes of heaven, the breath of the Tao. Listen to the wind dying down now. The fierce wind does not last all morning. The shouting is turning into a whisper. The whizzing is turning into a hum. The wind is stopping. The hollows are emptying. The sound is fading. Return to the silence of the hollow tree. You are just an instrument. The song is over. The player has put down the flute. The universe is holding its breath. We are back to where we started. Back to the great mystery. Back to the uncarved block. Back to the one. Back to the Tao. There is nothing left to say. The trap is discarded. The fish is caught. The boat is empty. The wind has stopped. Drift, float, silence, darkness, peace.